Whoa, we're back. We're in. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another stream. It is a Friday. It's a Friday. That's kind of nice. How is everyone doing today? Today is kind of exciting. Kind of exciting for me because today we are going to be working on Pkwak. Everyone's favorite language of the moment, Pkwak. We've had so much great activity on the Discord with Pkwak, and I'm seeing, as if we didn't have enough luck. Lucy's telling us that the internet looks totally connected today, which is a great and novel thing after our last two streams when we were beset by difficulties technical. We were like hapless sailors on the open seas, harried by harpies, the harpies of a bad connection. And we are now delivered from these tribulations. We are now in the land of good connection and good sound. I hope. Okay, you tell me if there's any problem, but it looks like so far so good. So yes, as I was saying, so much cool stuff going on in the Discord about Pkwak. We've had a renaissance of Pkwak poetry and literature. So I think given that, we have to take some time to flesh out the language a bit so that everyone has some more resources to actually work with in writing Pkwak. So that's our basic agenda today, is to go over a romanization system for Pkwak so it's a little bit easier to type, to add a few more grammatical bits and some more vocabulary, and to showcase some of the cool work that's been done on Pkwak in the meantime. So that's the basic plan. So the other thing that's going on, and I don't know if you know this, but we're having a fan fiction contest that has been, it's now ready for you to vote on. The entries are all in, and if you check out the YouTube community tab, you will see a poll, and the poll enables you to read these 4 wonderful entries and to vote on which one you think should be canonized. And so you have until the end of the month to do that. The stories are relatively short, but still there are about 2 weeks left in the voting period. So I encourage you to check them out and vote for which one you want to be canonized into the history of the Birai verse. And also, it's going to be recorded. I'm going to narrate the story and put that up as a video. So it's going to be fun. So that's a reminder for that. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think that's about it. Let's see. Chat, what's going on with the chat? Yeah, Galactic saying we need to figure out how to romanize these retroflexes. This has been at the top of my mind. We'll get into it when we get into the section, but the strategy of using constant R won't work because actually the retroflexes are contrastive with constant R's. So we have to figure out something else. The underdot on TD and S. Yeah, this sort of Sanskrit style retroflex romanization. I like that. I'm on the Windows machine right now, so that might be a bit tough. But maybe our friendly IPA keyboard will help us. Let's see. Yeah, it should be able to help us with that. So we'll make those decisions soon. Other than that, let's see what else is going on. Pkwak stands with the people in the stream. Indeed it does. The vote. When does the vote end? The vote ends at the end of October. So, 11:59 p.m., 59 seconds. That's when we'll count the final vote. So you have some time, but there are 4 stories, and I don't know, you might like to make yourself a nice cup of tea, get a blanket, find a fireplace, and read them all. So you have enough time to do that now. All right. Yeah. So what are the consonants, Sutton? Good question. We have not actually got a formal inventory for Pkwak yet. We've just been using the Proto-Sakrat inventory, and we are deriving from there. So we need to now actually figure out what the synchronic phonology of Pkwak is like. So that's another task that we can do today. We'll probably do that before the romanization because it's kind of a necessary step. All right. So, yeah. So I think with all that said, why don't we go in and work on the Pkwak phonology? And let's get my windows open here. All good. We got the Pkwak sheet. All right. Okay, I'll say hello to YouTube and then we'll get started. Oh, I got a good knuckle crack there. YouTube. We are just about to roll up our sleeves and work on our language Pkwak. And if you're not familiar with Pkwak, this is the latest in a whole series of Conlang videos where we devise languages in a family called Sakrat. And Sakrat is an isolating, it's a heavily analytic family. So you'll notice that those tendencies carry over into Pkwak, one of the daughter languages of the family. So we've had a real renaissance of Pkwak literature on the Discord lately. And by the way, hey, if I don't say it, who will? The Discord information is down in the description. So if you are interested in Conlangs, linguistics, language learning, check out the Discord. We have a lot of fun there. Great people, fantastic people. And then I guess there's nothing more to say other than let's jump in and work on this phonology because we don't actually have a synchronic phonology for this language. So let's scoot over to the side webcam. There we go. And let's see what we have here. So last week we talked a little bit about, last week on stream, we talked a little bit about Sakrat poetry because we had Taga come up with the first Sakrat text and in fact set off the entire Pkwak Renaissance where we have Pkwak texts coming in left and right. So now we need to figure out what is going on with this language, what is the phonology like. So without further ado, let's get some charts up, shall we? Let's get some charts up. Oh, by the way, Galactic Sand just said Manis Skam, which you can find in the which we'll talk about, but I read it before, so I know what it means. This means Manis bless. So this is like a Pkwak greeting. And Manis Skam. So let's start phonologizing, shall we? Let's see. So I think I need another Sheets window open here. And then we need to go into the Proto-Sakrat. No, that's not the one I wanted. The Proto-Sakrat phonology so that we can just use it and make some changes. So it's a fairly minimalistic phonology. Let's bring this over into the Pkwak sheet. Brilliant. Okay, so we have a 5-vowel system. I think that's probably going to, I think that stays the same in Pkwak. So vocal, vowel, English. My brain has not fully inhabited the English language today, but that's fine. That may actually be a benefit. Okay, so we have the vowels. This is the syllable structure for Proto-Sakrat. That is going to be different in Pkwak, so we'll just delete that for now. And let's get some order, some semblance of order here. Consonants. So let's make some places of articulation. Labial, dental. I don't know if it's dental or alveolar yet. I know we have retroflexes. We have a palatal. We have a velar. And I think we have just a glottal place of articulation. I think that's all we have. So let's distribute our nasals now in Proto-Sakrat. We will use this as the base and we'll augment it for what's going on in Pkwak. Right. I think I lost some things in the shuffle. I'm going to go back and let's look. Worksheet. Ah, yes. Lovely. Oh, Ma just put a Pkwak inventory on Discord. Excellent. Okay, so I will check that out in a second. Let me just organize the organize the chart here. Fricative. And then we have our liquids. And yeah, we can just squish them all together in that. So I think it might be an interesting exercise for us not to look at Maja's inventory and try and figure it out ourselves from the sound changes and then see if we got it right. So in the proto-language we have voice and contrast at our different places of articulation. We have I've lost the sonorants. Or I've lost the non-nasal sonorants anyway. Rala yawa. So let's just put them in here roughly like this. Let's consider it velar. Let's consider W velar for now. All right. Romka, I could just call it coronal, but then what would I call the retroflex? That's also coronal. And we'd be in trouble. Good. Okay. So let's take a look at the sound changes. And let's go into lexergy. I think having a bit of lexergy is good for us. So don't look at that. That's scary. What happens? So I think we need a bigger screen. So what happens in the journey from Proto-Sakrat to Pkwak? We lose contrast in minor syllables. We go to schwa. So what I'm going to do is every time we have a new member of the inventory come in, I'm just going to put it inside the inventory in the other tab. So we have schwa come in. We're going to lose schwa, I believe, but for now let's put it in and just sort of evolve this inventory as we go. We start to get we get first, before the schwa reduction, we get secondary articulation on consonants. We then reduce the vowels to schwa, and then we remove that secondary articulation. Okay, so we're not going to have to worry about that. We get retroflexion. So all of our coronals are going to be retroflexed when before R. Okay. And then that's going to swallow up the R. So let's take a look and see what that does to our inventory. That gives us a bunch of retroflexes. I'm going to need the IPA keyboard, excuse me. So what do we have in this column? We're just going to take it all and make retroflex versions. So na, put it over, retroflex nasal. Look at me resizing windows like I know what I'm doing. Da, da. And I don't believe that we have any RLLR cases. Could be wrong. Chat, what do we think? Oh, I've missed. First of all, I've done something silly. That's misplaced, and I've missed the fricatives. Thank you. Chat probably saw that way earlier. Okay, so sh. And I don't believe R and L could ever be retroflexed in this current setup. Well, maybe L could. So we can put R in. I don't think RR would retroflex. Okay. So now let's take a look at the chat because I see lots of cool stuff coming in. Galactic Sand is saying, what if we took the retroflex and turned it into a palatal before... oh, no, wait. Am I reading that wrong? Yeah, I'm reading that wrong. We're talking about a palatal nasal coming in. Oh, from loanwords. I see. Okay. Cool. Niskamtaga, welcome. All right. So... are there no retroflex liquids at all? Let's take a look in Lexergy. I have to resize the window. I think in theory we could. In theory we could, if we had something like la ra, it would become ra, and then that would become la. I think that could work. It's theoretically possible, at least. Yeah, I don't think it actually does occur, just because it's an accidental gap. But if we had a proto word la ra, it would happen. All right, so let's see. So that's our reflection. Then we lose schwa, so let's remove it from here. We lose schwa. This is just a syllable readjustment rule, so don't worry about that. We have voicing assimilation. So obstruents in clusters are going to have to agree in voicing. We don't necessarily have to write that down because that's going to be purely allophonic. What else? We're propagating palatalization and label. So we're yes, okay, I remember. So we actually don't lose secondary articulations everywhere, just before e and u. So you can sort of see how this might happen. You have this palatalization happening before e. So say you have something that's like, let's take an actual example, titip, which is the root for bird. So let's actually trace the evolution of that word, so you can see what happens. All right. So it's a bit awkward to see, but titip goes to titip, and then so you see this the palatalization spreads onto the consonants before the e, and then the unstressed vowel gets neutralized to schwa. So we have titip, and then the secondary articulation gets lost before e because it's redundant there, but or at least because it could be interpreted, that palatalization could be interpreted as the vowel, but there's no way it could be interpreted as the vowel here because it's now unstressed and it's schwa. So titip. Right. And then we lose the schwa, so we have this awkward cluster, this geminate, where the first half is palatalized and the second half is not. That doesn't sound like it's something that could happen, or at least persist very long, even if it could happen. Maybe it can happen, I don't know. But anyway, we end up having a geminated palatalized T as the initial. We're going to lose these secondary articulations altogether later on, but for now, that's what's happening. Okay, so what happens is, actually, right now, because we spin off a glide after anything with the secondary articulation. So secondary articulation in this case is the palatalized tia and the labialized toi. So that secondary articulation on the consonant spins off as a glide onto the vowel, and then we lose the secondary articulation. So we go from keep to teep. And good. Okay, so that's what's going on there. That's this rule that says remove co-articulation 2. So far, we don't actually have any consequences for the inventory. This is all structure preserving, other than the retroflexion. Okay, next we have aspirations. So obstruents beside S, actually stops beside S, aspirate. So this is why we have scam instead of scam. So that is going to create a new, well, that's actually not going to create a new contrast, because unless we efface or delete any of these S's, that will be purely predictable. So let's keep an eye on that. That may actually not end up being phonemic. Okay, then we have L vocalization. So L becomes W at the end of a word, or initially before a consonant, or between a consonant and a vowel. So let's take a look at some words that show this. So tikal. That's a good example of a word that would show it. So we have tikal becoming tikyao. So that L is being vocalized at the end of the syllable, as it does in a lot of languages. Great. Okay. So you have tikyao. So this gives us a wa, but we already have a wa, I believe. We already have a wa in our inventory. I just don't think it could exist word finally. Maybe it could. Maybe it could. Yeah, it could. So this is also structure preserving. There are no new things that happen as a result of this. No new structures. Okay. Let's continue. Then we have the glide vocalization rule. Okay, I get to try and read this and figure out what I was thinking. What was I thinking here? So these are glides. Minus syllabic, minus consonantal picks out the glides. Things that are not truly consonantal, but also non-syllabic. That's a good description of glides. And they become syllabic when they are before a consonant. Okay, so let's take a look at this. This is going to show up in a word like... what's it going to show up in a word like? Rakit. I think that will show up in rakit. Let's find out. Or ranis. Yes, okay. So we have rakit becoming rkit through the rules that we already understand very well. And then we have this glide vocalization, which means that a glide in this awkward position, rkit, turns into a vowel, akit. Rkit, akit, and depending on what glide that was, actually that's not a glide, that's R, so that's the second half of this. This rule is a bit not perfectly named, but whatever. So R is acting like the consonantal version of A. So we need to find the consonantal version of... We need to find something that starts with an L to show what this was really like. Lusul. Okay. Lusul. That works. Okay. So then we have wuswu. Wuswu, very strange sounding word. And this w, this initial w, gets made syllabic and becomes oswu. Oswu. Yes, so there are no initial R's, Jack. That's correct. Unless it's from a monosyllable. If it was in a monosyllable, then the R will be maintained. Oswu. Okay, so that explains this. This also does not change. This doesn't give us any new phonemes because it's just putting vowels that we already have in the system into a different position. Okay, and then we have some housekeeping that reassigns the stress because it all gets kind of messed up by that addition of the syllable. Then we simplify the onsets. So here is a potential for our aspiration to become phonemic. Why? Because if we have, as long as we have those, so okay, let me just come to the screen. If we have S beside a stop, that stop will aspirate. So scam becomes scam. But if we can then have some way of deleting that S without changing the kam, we now have the potential for a contrast between kam and kam, which means that this rule, which does delete consonants in onset clusters, the very clusters that give rise to that aspiration, means that we now have a new contrast. So this is phonologization. This is the emergence of a new contrast by allophonic rule followed by deletion of the conditioning environment. Okay, so that means we need to put in the aspirates into the inventory. Back we go. So that means I need to go back to the IPA keyboard, doesn't it? And let's put that in. And so now we have a three-way contrast. Presumably, that will also occur to the appear with the retroflexes. I'm going to need to do 2 copy and paste here. Okay. Super. Super. Okay, I see we've got some good ideas for the retroflex romanization. We will get there soon. I just want to finish outlining the inventory. Next, and this is also a good way for us to get reacquainted with the language. Then we have degemination. So we lose all of our geminates, and that's it. There's nothing else happens. So we are where we need to be. This is our inventory, modestly enhanced from Proto-Socrate. It's a question of what would happen to Sipak. Let's find out. I'm just going to delete these because it takes a long time to run. Spiak. Spiak. All right, so we get the aspiration after S there. Let's see, spak. It seems that we have some bug in the rules. Interesting. I don't know why that doesn't work. Oh, sorry, sapak. That's why. Haha, because that's not a valid Proto-Socrate root. Spak. So when do we lose the S? There has to be another word, another consonant to its left. Which, could that ever happen? We're trying to reason about this. Could that ever happen in Proto-Socrate? The only way we can get S colliding with another stop is through the deletion of that minor syllable vowel. So actually, I don't think it can ever be phonologized, which is kind of a shame, because for that to be the case, we'd need something like sa, ta. Oh no, wait. Saprak. Maybe this will do it. Oops. No, I didn't mean to download it. No, that's wrong. I was wrong. Pasrak. Oh no, paslak. Is L valid? Hello, do you know your own? Yes, it is. Okay. So, pswak. Because L gets vocalized. I don't think there's any way to do it. I think there's absolutely no way to get that contrastive, which is kind of a shame. It's kind of a shame. We could just change it ourselves. We could get rid of that S. Because I kind of want it contrastive. Let's do it. Chat, we're going to make a slight change to Pkwak. We're going to get rid of these S's in these cases so we can have a contrast. How does this work? I'll tell you how it works. Change this from plus consonantal to minus syllabic so that glides will also get rid of it. Glides will also trigger it. There we go. Slight change will only affect a very few words, but it gives us our contrast. No, Chip, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's dialectal. It's dialectal. It's just dialectal, that's all. Okay. Okay, Jack, why not pasrak because of the retroflexion, which will eat up that R. Pshak. Sparsh, how is aspirated T phonemic and aspirated P isn't? I think they both are. They both are or neither are. Neither is. Because the same things apply to them, so you're correct. All right. All right. Okay, I think we're good. So we have now come up with a way in which these are very, very minorly contrastive. Okay, I think, yeah, this is the confusion, as Galactic Sands points out. We just don't have any examples of pa in the vocabulary. It's an accidental gap. Because we have a relatively small vocabulary, not all of these patterns will be in evidence. Okay. Okay. So here we are. I actually want to get to the romanization. So here we are with our lovely inventory, and now we just need to romanize it. So where are our problems? Let's bring this over here. And let's highlight all of our problem characters. I can't highlight them because... Oh, I can. Oh, no, I can't. Alas. Okay, well, we need to deal with the... Excuse me. The aspirates. So let's just turn this superscript into a full height character. And is there no H? There is an H, but it's not going to end up being. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm not saying something that's false. So let's take a look at this. Tahap. What does that give us? Tahap. Okay, I'm going to put in another rule, which is that this is a very minor change, but I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm going to call this obvious aspiration. And we're going to say syllabic. Oh no, all we need is plus consonantal, minus sonorant, minus continuant, plus, what are we using? What feature set are we using here? Spread glottis, is it? Yeah, it is. Okay. When before H, then... So this gives us another source of contrastive aspiration. Then H. Let's just say H after any consonant. Goes away. Okay, so now we have top. This shouldn't affect any actual words in the language yet, I don't think. Don't think we have any medial H's. Just hoo-hoo, but that's not gonna, we would get rid of that anyway. Great. Okay, moving on. Oops, there we go. Oops, double oops, there we go. So, now we have the question of what to do with the retroflexes. Galactic Sand points out that it's impossible to have an RC cluster, an R followed by a consonant, because we vocalize those R's. So this could allow us to use R consonant as a way of writing the retroflexes, which is especially relevant because R consonant is a potential source of a retroflex, I believe. I could be wrong about that. Let me just double check. No, only if the R is after. Right. Okay, fine. Nevertheless, I think it is a pretty good romanization because it will make it easier for people who don't have access to an underdot on there if you're writing Pkwak on a phone or something like that. So let's see what it looks like before we make any big decisions. So let's see. Oh, and then I think there are some Australian languages that that write retroflexes like this RL. Yeah, we can't do it the other way. That's super important. We cannot do consonant R because of the history. In the history of Pkwak, we actually have a contrast between retroflex and consonant R. Because of the way that the rules work, we have sounds that are initially in Proto-Socrat in contact with R, coronals get retroflexed. And then we have new consonant R clusters that are created later by deletion of those minor syllables. But those do not retroflex. So we have a contrast between tap and trap. So we can't use TR without having some other way of distinguishing between the two. Okay, so there we go. That's probably pretty good. Let's see if we can... Let's see if we need to do anything else. NG, I think reasonable, and RN. And then I think we've got a decent romanization system. So let's take a look here. So, sulyap, klui mamon ma kau kwenok kahauhu kakauhu be nok. Okay, that's pretty similar. Let's see if we can find another one. Ta. Ta suffer. RTA. Getting Sanskrit vibes there. RTA. Ta. Let's see. I think we also probably, just for the sake of prettiness, I don't like the J being used for yod in romanizations unless it's necessary. Jack asks, is NG a possible consonant cluster? Or let's find out. Let's see. Ngam. It is. So I think in that case we would probably just put an apostrophe in to keep it separate. I think that would do it. So something like ngam. For something that occurs fairly rarely, I think that's fine. I think that's pretty good. What's a great Okay, so let's do this one. Siut dosakit nok men nitngis du. So in the old system, this looks like siut dosakit nok men nitngis du. Chat, what do we think? Decent? Bien. Oh, that's good. To shoot. Bien. Yeah, that onset nasal is probably gonna shift. So we could, as Galactic Sand points out, we could do something like ngam. I could see it going either way. Nokmen. Thank you. Okay, so I think that about does it for the romanization. So now hopefully everyone will be a lot more at ease typing Pkwak, especially if you don't have fancy keyboards and things set up. Max, not a fan of the R. Well, we could always say that, you know, like so many great languages, Pkwak has multiple romanizations, and if you want to write it with an underdot, that's totally cool too. But I'll just put a little asterisk here. Alternative romanization for retroflexes underdot. Because I do like the way the underdot looks. It's just a bit hard to write. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Well, chat, this has been super fun. Let's put it a break here for our good friends at YouTube. Let them get back to what they were doing today. But I think we will come back after the break and continue. So YouTube, thank you very much. Whoa, I'm off screen. Thank you very much for stopping by, helping us with our romanization. We've had some fun today, and we'll have some more fun later. So come back. Until next time, Birai. Ha. Okay. Stretching. I will Birai. I'm going to do a little bit of a ramble, get some steps in, stretch a bit, and I will see you back here in about a minute. back. All right. So I realized we forgot to look at Maj's phonology. So we'll do that right when we get back into the segment and see how we did. Yeah, chat. This is good. This is good. We have a romanization. It only required two very small rules. What we'll do is I think we will put a romanization into the lexergy. We'll look at Maj's phonology. We'll put the romanization into lexergy so we don't have to be messing around all the time. And we will, and let's start expanding the language a bit, because I believe there were some requests in Discord for additional bits of grammar and some, and we'll examine some of the innovations that the community has come up with. So that's the plan. Let's do it. YouTube. Hello. It is a delight to have you here once again. What are we doing? We are going back into our beloved language, Pkwak, the only language named after the sound a chicken makes. And we are going to be working on a little bit of the final touches of our romanization. We are going to be doing a little bit more grammar to make the language a bit more capable of expressing what the community wants to be able to express in it. There's some great poetry coming up, by the way. It's in the Discord. Check out the Discord. Links in the description. You know the drill. Right. So I think that's a good plan for us to get started with. So let's jump in and let's do it. Grammar. All right. So last episode, previously on Pkwak, we worked out a romanization, which works pretty decently. It's not the most creative romanization in the world, probably not something you want in a romanization anyway, so that's good. Let's take a look and see the phonology that Maj has come up with. There we go. Is that coming up on screen? Let's see if I can zoom it. So I think we pretty much got it. The only difference, the only substantive difference, is that we extended the aspiration all through, because in principle it could be, although in the data set that Maj was working with, it wasn't. So those are accidental gaps, I think. And then the only other difference is the voiced fricatives, which actually are not contrasted because they are completely determined by the voicing of an adjacent obstruent. So I have left them out of the phonology. Other than that, I think we are very much in alignment. Well done, Maj. Excellent. All right, so. Okay, I see some requests coming in the chat. We need pronouns. Okay. We can do some pronouns. We can look at some of the existing Pkwak poetry and come up with, what we might actually use for a Pkwak poetic system. Although I think so far we have had just, such a beautiful efflorescence of Pkwak poetry that I even hesitate to interfere. But let's go in. Let's do some. What did I say I was going to do? Oh yeah, we're going to put in the romanization into lexergy. So lexergy, for those who don't know, has a romanization rule that you can, or the capacity for you to put in a romanization rule, so that you can just basically put in all your romanizations as little rewrite rules. So with that in mind, we have one here. I'll show you how it works. So remember that this should be RS. Remember how we are romanizing the retroflex fricative here. Sh. We are romanizing it RS, and so you see we have a few in this output. So we have one. So we'll see. Let's see what happens to it. You can see it'll just spell it out for us like that. Pshak. Right. All right, so let's continue. let's get all of our phonemes that we need to romanize. So you can see, there we go. Getting closer. This is just a fairly simple procedure, nothing fancy, but it's good to do. This go away. Dra, RT, dra, RD. Then we just need to get nasha, na and la in. RN, RL. And the velar nasal NG, J, yod as Y, and then let's get the whole lexicon, the whole inherited lexicon in there so we can see what happens. All right, it may choke a bit, but we'll be able to see. Oh, and let's get rid of the stress mark because that's annoying. Drum roll, please. Okay, thank you, chat. I did put the retrofix romanized as RK. Yeah. Retrofix L to RK sound canon. You know, don't tempt me. This is very. What is it? Is it Mayet's law? Dua to yerk, I think, something like that. All right, so let's fix that for a second. Apply it again. As for the stress marker, it is not necessary because every word is final stressed. Yeah, Quain. That's exactly it. Was that Armenian, I think? And I need to get rid of the syllable markers as well. But you see the gist of it here, right? We can I can't use the browser's busy. It's doing its thing. We'll just gaze at the output here for a second. What lovely output. You know, I've seen output before, but never anything quite like this. Okay, there we go. So that looks quite nice. Skam. Skam, skat, tam je suis, tarsu, tio, twor, ora, hnong. Don't ask me why this stress has remained with us. Tui, biai, opuit, abuan, ziao. Does that mean that voicing is actually contrastive in the sibilants? Ziao. Let's take a look at that rule for a second. This is fun. This is like watching those channels where people are live coding and they're debugging things. I know that's what everyone thinks is super fun. This is the Conlang equivalent. Voicing assimilation. Yeah. Maj, you were totally right. Those are actually contrastive because look at this. Look at this xiao. Where does it come from? Sidal. Huh. How does that work? This is lovely when you find something that you don't really understand in your own rule set. Ah, I saw it. Let's see what's going on there. Oh, it's our deletion of that middle syllable that's doing it, which now makes z contrastive. Whoa. I'm excited. I'm excited. Zdiao. How can the D fall out? Oh, no, sorry. Now the D can fall out. Yes, exactly, Ship. Exactly. Young Pkwak kind of sounds like a rapper, though. All right, so let's put it in. I think that we have to put it in. Where is it? Pkwak. So we have a voicing contrast here. So z. And I don't know. Can we get sh, zh? I don't think we can get zh. But we might be able to, and I can't figure it out right now. So let's just put RZ, SZ, RZ, SRZ. But these are going to be very marginal contrasts, like the English the voiced versus voiceless interdental, which are almost never contrastive, but are in things like thigh and thy. What was I doing? Oh yeah, finding that retroflex voiced. There we go. So I guess that's it. So we got to put this in. Jack, something like disrok. Oh, let's see. Disrok does not go that way. It goes to shok, shiok. I think we got to do something about this retroflex followed by high front stuff, which is not a very great thing. But we'll work on that maybe another time. Zhao. Yeah, that'd be. I'm imagining like someone from Ming pronouncing it, saying Zhao. Okay. All right. Well, good. My brain is not the kind of thing that multitasks very well, so you can see the performance start to go down as we go. Lucy will tell you. Lucy knows all too well how bad I am at multitasking. Okay. Let's scoot back and let's do some grammar. And for the purposes of our friends young Pkwak, we can put the boundary something like here before the rules that we changed, although it won't be exactly the same as what was Pkwak prior to an hour ago, but it'd be roughly the same. So that's young Pkwak. Okay. Galactic saying, could we do a cut before doing grammar? Well, yeah, let's. I don't like to do episodes that are too short because sometimes people get upset in the comments that that the cuts are too frequent. Try and keep them at least half an hour, but we may have to do a little cut at some point. All right, so yeah, Galactus and the length is kind of short. It's sort of a compromise. Like there are algorithmic concerns as well. Yeah. Anyway, so I've completely forgotten what we were doing. So that's the situation we're in right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just come over here and talk to you for a second so I regain my bearings, because I got pulled in too many directions at once there. We got to do some pronouns. That's what we got to do. Oh yeah, Galactic Sand, right. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're on the same page. Super. Okay, so I'm going to just scoot. I'm going to just be zen for like 3 seconds here, and we're going to work on some pronouns. I think we got to put it in with this video just for the purposes of YouTube. We love you, YouTube. All right, so pronouns. Now, our Socrates Renaissance authors have actually come up with some pronoun innovations. Let's consult the chat. So chat, I saw earlier, I don't know who wrote it. Someone was saying that there was a pronoun innovated in one of the works. Could I ask you to provide that back again? Pkwak pronouns. Ha for first person singular. Okay, thank you. So we want, looks like we may be developing a singular plural system, which I don't think the other Socratic languages have, but maybe pre-Pkwak had. And the pronoun system of Pkwak is being remodeled on that substrate. So ha, ga. No pronoun for impersonal. All right. So that's null. Let me give me my nice null symbol. There we go. Beautiful. Doesn't look as nice in sheets. Na for third person singular. Na. My question is, are there etymologies for any of these? Na. Na, na, na. Is it? Oh yeah, ma is and but. That's true. Proto-Socratic has... What? Proto-Socratic has nothing. I don't believe Proto-Socratic has any pronouns. Maybe one? Did we make one? We do. We do. It's ga. But we have it here. I think that ga actually has a lexical source. What it came from, I don't know. Maybe something like Lord. And then it becomes a second person pronoun in many languages. Or maybe some sort of someone higher up on the food chain. I guess that's all we can say. Together. Do we have a word for together? Because that could be one first person plural. If there isn't, shan. Let's find out. I don't think there is. I don't think there is. No, there isn't. Okay, let's do it. So how do we get shan? How do we get shan? It would have to be something like saran. Wouldn't it? Something like that. Let's find out. Saran. No. Colin was wrong. Saran. Shan. There we go. So let's put Sran in the Proto-Socrat lexicon. Together, sorry, you can see that. Together, there we go. All for the third person plural. Ooh, I like that. What's our all word? Nok. Yeah, I like that. So na, shan, nok. And I wonder if there's a syncretism we could do here. For second person plural. Nok nok who's there. Yeah, if we got second person plural through analogy, that would be fun. Ha, shan, ga. I don't know exactly what analogy would be operating on here though, because we don't have really enough. If we had ha, han, ga, gan, we could do. Jean. Second person from those who hear. Interesting. Okay, I like all these ideas. I don't know how to choose between them. Let's see what we do. Do we have a word for hear, first of all? We do, which is dram. So those who hear would be adram. Oh, I think I have a solution for us. What am I doing? We could do occlusivity distinction. So we could do gan, shan for to inclusive, and something like han. So we have this nascent plural marker. That would be, oh yeah, sorry, you're under the camera. Ha! I'm used to being on the top right. Maybe I should put it back. Yeah, something like that. Ha, han, shan, gan, na, nok. It's kind of nice. And maybe this ha, han, ga, gan structure is substrate influence. That would be kind of cool. And I could see some of the other Socrat languages taking other nouns and putting them into this, that, and the other pronouns, because we don't have a pronoun set in the proto language. We can't reconstruct anything back to it. Yeah, the nasal plural marker could become a general plural innovation. Maybe starting out with just animate plurals and then extending from there. So I'll leave the authors the freedom to use that or not as desired. But because I could think of it as entering the language via this route. So it enters the language as a suffix on these pronouns, and then it gets added to things like names for people, words for people, then maybe for animals, and then more and more things. So plural marker N. Not sure how much this extends through the language at different points. Yeah, and then Echoed Words points out quite correctly that this is going to mess with our syllable structure. So we've got to figure out what to do with it there. And I think, yeah, let's just call it, this is pre-Pkwak influence. So whatever the language spoken in that area before the before the spread of a Sakrat language is influencing it. So for anyone who's working on Pkwak, I don't know if there's anyone in the audience who is, but this is probably from that. Ooh, okay. I'm not sure what the stress is on this name. Is it Chrysosion? Chrysosion? I'm not. Apologies. The idea that it descends from nok. Whoa. Yes. 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 What if, yeah. So ship has a pre-Pkwak phonology but doesn't allow n. That's okay if it doesn't allow n, but as long as it has some sort of plural affix, maybe that comes from the word all. Oh yeah. Romke, thank you. Keep me honest. All good. And so this n plural comes from clipping of nok all. Great. This is really cool. Yes, Saran is the proto, RSAN is the Pkwak. And then, oh yeah, Taga, brilliant. So that's going to show up if it messes with the syllable structure. So let's see. Let's find so skam is person. This is a good candidate for something that might get this plural marker. So skamno would be people. Skamno. And then Pkwak starting to get a bit more of its own identity away from the other Sakrat languages. This is so cool. Okay. Skamno. So it's starting to get this affixation. I'd like to get a little bit of derivational morphology into Pkwak as well before we go. We'll do a little bit of this and then we'll go into a break. So let's find a word in the lexicon that we can use to be a general like a noun forming suffix that we can add on to things that are, well, we could just add a noun forming suffix onto things that are ambiguous between verb and noun, because Proto-Sakrat does not have strong lexical classes, so we don't have a strong noun versus verb distinction. So maybe we could start moving this language in the direction that there are suffixes that mark explicitly noun. And I'm trying to look and see if we have anything like that. That would be a kind of a fun thing to put in. I'm not sure exactly what I'm looking for. What kind of word would allow itself to bleach enough to become this kind of generic noun making suffix? I'm thinking of Quain probably knows what I'm thinking of, which is the Mandarin z suffix. All right, questions and corrections for me coming in. Skam is blessed, not people. Great. Yes, you're correct. Su, what is it? Tar, su, skam, suit. Sorry, suit. Suit is person. Skam is blessing. So blessings then. This is going to go in people's email signatures in Pkwak land. So no, people. There we go. That's better. Okay. Oh, interesting. So all words are by default nouns. So we have this sh or sha as a verbifier. So kind of like the way Korean treats the Sino-Korean vocabulary. So putting on that to do suffix, that hada, that works really well. Okay, so then, so skam is a blessing. So if you want to say skamsha, to bless. Whereas this is not totally necessary. Like you could put in, you could say maybe in earlier forms of I'm leaning on this earlier later thing a lot, but I want to preserve continuity with the existing texts. So maybe this is something that comes in later. But if people want to use it and we see it sort of filter through the language over time, we could have this verbifier. So something like verbalizer, skamsha. Sorry, it's not a clitic. Skamsha. Skamsha. Taga. In Eastern dialect, men as a pre-word is an adjunctive. Men nitngis. Yes. Men nitngis, the protagonist. Interesting. So men nit nis. Okay, so we have these two different dialects. Oh, Romke, birai. So let's use a word that's a little bit easier to pronounce over and over again. Let's use nom, which is use. So user would be men nom. So agent use. And then Maj's version is enom. So these are two options as well. And then Ship was using anom. This is really cool. And anom is what I was using in Proto-Socrat. So we have all these different agent nominalizations. Let's see, these are proclitics. Whoa, that's so cool. So what's the distinction between these? Is it dialectal? Is it something else? I don't know. Let's find out. But let's put in a cut here. I think it's time. I think it's fair now. We can put in a cut. YouTube. This is good. We are coming up with grammar for Pkwak. We're having fun. It's happening. So we will see you back here next time. Come back because we are going to be doing more. And we cannot wait. So until next time, birai. And if you don't know what that means, check out the birai playlist, which will be somewhere. Lucy, maybe we could link it. Giddy up. Okay. Okay, YouTube. YouTube's gone now, everyone. We can say whatever we want. No, I'm joking. They could still watch. They can still watch the full stream. So don't say anything mean about them. They're nice people. All right. My voice is getting a bit hoarse, so I'm going to just take a minute to be silent and refresh. And I will be right. Okay, we are back. And for our next segment, I think what we'll do is we'll take a look at the innovations, because we have actually a really great list of all of the collected works in Pkwak, compiled by Taga. Is it Taga? Is it you who sent the Pkwak collected literature, or did I miss that? Yeah, we need a Pkwak channel. I think it has to happen. Well, Taga, Galactic Sand, and Ship and Maj all have been working on Pkwak. Did I leave anyone out? I hope not. And we have a list of their collected innovations and their works here. So I think we should go in, we should look at them, and we should compile them all and start to work out what's what and what gets into this Koine Pkwak. I love that idea of the of having this kind of common Pkwak that mixes features from different varieties. One other thing that's cool about Pkwak, and I'll say this again when we get into YouTube, is that I see this tension between the structures of the Sakrat languages, which want the modifiers to follow the modified things, and the structures of the presumably pre-Pkwak languages, which are okay with sticking suffixes on things. So we have this tension between two different grammatical systems that gets resolved in interesting ways. That's kind of fun. What emoji do we need? I think we need chicken. I think it's a chicken. Pkwak has to be a chicken. If it were quack, that would be a different story, but that P needs that needs a chicken. Because the duck doesn't say Pkwak. Right? You know? We'll come up with a duck language as well. Okay. All right. I'll welcome YouTube back, and then we'll go and we'll look through everything, and we will do any more innovations that are needed by our authors. There's already a chicken. Well, there's more than one chicken emoji, so we can probably, like, the whole Sakrat family is very chicken focused. Quat? Yeah, we need to get back to quat. Yeah, that might be happening at some point. Who knows? I think that's between me and Quain. Okay. I'm going to welcome YouTube back, and we are going to go. YouTube. Here we are once again. We are going to jump back into Pkwak. The language of the moment, the language of the hour, everyone's favorite chicken/duck themed language. So let's jump in. Let's not drag out the introduction like so many times we do. All right. So here is a list of innovations in Pkwak. I'm going to zoom in. Okay, so this is the Pkwak dictionary, which hopefully will not need too much revision. Based on all the new writings. We have, oh my goodness, can we just take a moment to appreciate all of the wonderful work that's been done here? This is beautiful. And this is the origin of Niskam, or Skam Nis. Oh, this is gorgeous. And I have Ship's document here as well. Let me open that up. Look at this. Can I zoom in with this? I can. Good. Oh, this is gorgeous. I don't know exactly how to do this yet, chat, but what I would like to do is actually make a dictionary that we can look things up in, and, in a nice convenient way, rather than doing Control F in Google Docs and Sheets and things like that. But I'm not exactly sure how to do it because our wiki format, our wiki format doesn't fit over the headphones. Our wiki format doesn't really lend itself well to dictionaries, so I got to think that through. But oh my goodness, I want this work to be canonized. I really do. All of this is so amazing. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these innovations. Hopefully we will stop the language being a moving target for our authors. So we will seal things off after half an hour from now and not make major changes. Excuse me. So if you have things that you want in the language, let's deal with them now so that people don't end up having to redo things. Let's take some of these innovations and put them in, though. Look at this, skaten. From skat and men. This is really interesting. So skat men, sailor WH, skat men becomes skaten. That's really cool. Okay. Wow. Yeah, I do have my work cut out for me, don't I? Max, you and Quinn had some ideas for dialect stuff. All right, let's hear them. Let's hear them. And while we do, I'm just gonna scroll slowly through this so you can see all the amazing work that's gone into this. She as a future prefix, go to. Oh, that's really cool. Skaten she subur. Oh, this is so good. Okay, so here's what I think we should do. Given that there's already been so much work that's gone into this, let us decide. We are canonizing 4 varieties of Pkwak, which are listed here. These 4 varieties: Prestige, Eastern, GS, and Maj. We'll come up with names for them. But everything that has been decided thus far for any of these, we can canonize. So let it be written, so let it be done. Then, when it comes to the single Pkwak language, we will try to develop a koine, which is a mixture of different dialects that becomes a kind of a common language for all of them. Koine meaning common. No. Maj is being included because even if it's not fully developed yet, it can be a place where things develop in time. So I think we have our 4, and then we have the koine, which is an attempt to kind of harmonize between all of them. So if you want to work, you can work in one or the other or the koine. I think that why am I all blurry? Hold on, I'll come back here. Whoa. Okay, good. All right, so back we go. So that's the idea. And if you like an innovation in another variety, you can port it over. Maybe things are shared by some. It's an interesting question as to how these varieties developed. And it actually teaches us something about language change, because things are not always simple as the trees that they show you in the textbooks. Varieties are in contact with one another, and there's sort of horizontal transfer sometimes as well. Loan words, this kind of thing. All right. Catching up on chat. Oh yeah. Okay, Echo Word says, what if Pkwak users decide to coin words based on ancestor languages when they need a word and just pull it into the modern language? So then we would get things like doublets, like we have in the Romance languages, where you have a word that gets pushed through all the sound changes into, say, French, and then the Latin word gets borrowed and, sort of as is, and you get the two words coexisting side by side with slightly different meanings, or sometimes not so slightly. That would be cool. I don't know exactly in terms of the history. Proto-Saqrat is a reconstructed language at the moment. We don't have an older literary language, although we very well may. We may come up with one. That would be kind of cool. Sanskrit loans into Hindi. It's another example. All right. So then coming back to what Max and Quain have been working on. R becomes uvular in some dialect, and clusters resolve into phonemes. Oh, really interesting. And then pitch accent. That's cool. Oh yeah, my absolute favorite doublet in romance is calumny and challenge. That's a really good one. It's actually not a doublet in modern French, but it is a doublet in the Romance Latin derived stratum of English. So that's kind of cool. It was a legitimate doublet in Norman French. Okay. So I need to look at the other collective document. Okay, let's go back over here. Where are we? Okay, geez. Is it something down at the bottom or? I don't know. I don't know if there's something that I should be looking at in particular. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've come to a feast, and I only have this tiny plate and this tiny capacity to eat, and there's just a banquet of richness in front of me. Truly. Okay, so how are we going to formalize this then? I think we need to do a bit of grammar writing. We only have 20 minutes, so I think we should do all the grammar deciding that we need to do now. And then we can formalize and write more texts, get more fleshed out, get more stuff fleshed out. I saw a request in the chat to come up with an adverbial suffix or an adjectival suffix. Is that right? We can do that as well. Has anyone made an innovation in that direction? Okay. I'm just going, while I wait for the chat, I'm going to read this because this is amazing. Kangen wow bemot maskat. Kangen bedud pna als hu. Kangen ben west dud man west swor man west tuan nitatsabuan. Kangen beadwan dwerp tekut ma pud gdun ats nit. Kangen ben pit kris ma pak mahangi mu ats kris. Nok lakwe nwau kluk dwermu nwek nwau pna bem nwau. Relakwe wong bem mo ramu pkau benyu. Skaten shepak pnanyu nwes das ats tap pud. Piasheka kang tap ats abuan raklui ats pkau. Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff that I can't entirely pronounce. Okay, Ship's got an adverbial derivational suffix. Let's go over here. Yeah, we can use ow from nwau. So nwau worth gives us ow adjective. Sorry, did I say adverbial? I meant adjectival. And if we have an open syllable in front of it, So dweg sugarcane becomes dwegao. Sweet or sugary. So let's find something. Let's find something with an open syllable. Clui. Clui is C. So clui. We could just do cluiao. Marine. There's nothing preventing us from having that vowel hiatus. That's not illegal, it seems. We haven't said it's illegal anyway. I don't know, maybe could be, but I think this is fine. Cluiao. So cluiao, of the sea, having to do with the sea. Marine, the gloss I've given it. Let's see what else. Liao, water. This is a real test. Liao, water. Liao, wow. Aquatic. Tpian, tpianao, sandy. Yeah, I like that. Pkwak scripture being composed of basically somewhat religious-ish wisdom quotes. Yeah, so it seems that the corpus of Pkwak we have right now is a kind of wisdom literature in general. So let's take a look at it and read some more. See the attitude expressed by the Pkwak wisdom literature. Let's see if I can find a small poem. Okay. Mutnyan, highest point. Dosngisa swipshe, opwit kibe, trunswi nitpe menakit, swipshe, mapidube, mwaswibe kluk, swangis tar sudwan. Kabe nuauptwet, twanhum mot mswit, she mutnyan lagriak. Pkauquenok, abuan bemnis klui. Amen kris, apaskam, asyut, an angis. Min tahu, byun nishu. Lara yo sui. Translation. Highest point. Feel that you see a hill, the side that you must go. On the path of flowers, a seed shines at your head. Must go, but firstly eat the seed in the water. Say to yourself, don't stay. Look at village. High up is far from the house. Go to the hill point, you have won. Finally, swim in the sea of the gods as one who yearns, receiving blessings as a person, as oneself. The one who suffers existence feels a godly presence. Pretty cool. Question about, my gloss is aquatic. I don't know. It's watery, aquatic, could be any of those things having to do with water. I'm not married to this. Watery, aquatic, whatever. Whatever works for you. Yeah, Pkwak may have a nature worshipping religion. So the Sakrat people worship one goddess that we know of, which is reconstructed name Proto-Manis. Sui is the author of the poem. Yeah, right. Excellent. Sui, free seed. So this is a goddess that we know that the Sakrat people worshipped, and we know that the we have a reconstructed term for bless, is sakam. Maybe what happens is that an originally polytheistic sakrat system, religious system, gradually became more henotheistic. So having one god predominating over all others, which would be manis. And then gradually that manis becomes reinterpreted as a sort of a ground of being style entity, not an active personal god. And then this ends up fusing with some nature worship and some animism, maybe something like that. One god, but also with venerated nature spirits. Yeah. That's kind of cool. Or maybe Manis is more of a feature of an older stage of the religion, and Manis continues in the language, Maniskam, just like we have goodbye in English with that relic of God in there, but it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone who says goodbye is actively invoking the Christian God, not necessarily. Oh, okay, Ship. Ship just wrote something that I think is really great. When the leaves change and fall, that is Manis. Manis is the Pkwak reflex of Proto-Sakrat Manis. When the leaves change and fall, that is Manis. When the flowers bloom, that is Manis. Unknown poet. Nokno ma tatar. Okay, wait. Nokno. How do we translate that? Maj, how do I translate that? I'm not good enough at Pkwak. Behind every unknown poet is a ship. Oh. We're getting calls for a batlang. Okay. Not quite a bird. The reason I did that slight dance there is because as soon as I heard batlang, I heard the old Batman theme in my head, and I started, like Pavlov's dog, I just have to, do that Batman dance. I don't know. All right. So, yeah. I'm not the only one who hears it. Pixel Music says, the pioneer of the batlang. Okay, well, let's see what happens with this batlang. I'm excited. Oh, they're deciding on Thax emoji. Okay, I'll look on Discord later. Oh, cool. All right, well, I'm excited to see this poem. I almost feel that there's a kind of, there's almost a kind of haiku-like quality to some of this stuff. It's all Manis. Yeah, I like this idea of of a goddess that was once a very distinct personal entity, gradually becoming more and more philosophical and abstract as time goes on, but retaining the name. I really like that idea. Quain says a quite East Asian-like culture, but we didn't give it tones, so at least we prevented ourselves from falling down that well. We'll have to make me not like that at all, just so that we're not copying our world too much. Everything, it was all Manis, always has been. That's the next meme. Oh, excellent. Okay, so Galactic Sand is saying that the development of the religion and culture will be useful for future poetic developments. Excellent. Okay, we have 10 minutes. Is there anything else we need to decide before we end? Because I don't want to make major changes to this to Pkwak after today, so that people can have a nice stable ground to develop on. What do we say, chat? Anything else? Tense. Okay, let's take a look, because there is some actual tense that's been developed here in Ship's document. So we have a future tense here, she, which we can use, and then we have these tense marked relative. These tense marking relative markers, which remind me of Irish. Yeah, I really like that. So it looks like we have a past, a future, and an unmarked present. So let's write that in terms of tense. This is a super organized document. We have past, so we have present unmarked, we have past, we have future, except it's not totally... Okay, so Ship has she as a future, where Galactic Sand has been using it as a continuous. So that's a dialectal difference. So this she could be... So let's just write it down. She, and then aspect. I don't know if this is going to be, in the Koine, are we going to have she marking both future tense and progressive aspect, or continuous aspect? What was it? A continuous aspect. Could be. That kind of syncretism, yeah, maybe. I could see it, maybe. Echo Words is asking, do we have any words for bat in any language? Yeah, I don't think we do. So that's open. That's an open field for us to plant. Yes, Quain, that's a good point. The English progressive can be used in that way. That's a general feature of English's system, because not just the progressive can be used in that way, but the simple present can also be used in that way, and has been, and always has been. Even dating back to the Old English period, where you could say things like, well, I'll give you a modern English example, we leave at daybreak. There's present morphology, future meaning. And xiao has also appeared as continuous. So let's say in the Ship dialect, she is future, and which dialect is M? So in the Maj dialect, that's continuous. Oh, no, sorry. So in Maj's dialect, we use she as the future. Galactic Sand has been using it as a continuous. And then xiao is tag is continuous. Did I get it right? Did I get it right, chat? I'm working. Present use for future. Yeah, especially since we considered the Germanic tense system overall has really two. It's a binary opposition between past and non-past. So if you have non-past, it's easy for that to be used as the future. It's a good point. Excellent. Well, I think it may be time for us to close the book on Pkwak. I think it's fair. So, chat, YouTube, everyone, this language is now open for business. It has been an absolute pleasure to spend this time with you today. We've made a lot of progress, and I look forward to seeing all of the flourishing of Pkwak literature that has been going on continue and strengthen as we've invigorated the language with a new romanization system and some new grammar and a lovely history and dialectal diversity and some cultural background. I think we got a lot of good material here. So, in the interests of getting us all to go relax and start Conlang and making dinner, whatever it is you do, I will say goodbye for now. And until next time, birai. Chat, that was fun. Thanks everyone for coming today. This has been, as always, a joy. Goodness gracious. I love Pkwak. Pkwak is really shaping up. And I really hope someone makes that always has been niece meme. That'd be funny. And gradually this community will drift away from being understandable to anyone else. Someone comes into the Discord, hey, I'm interested in Conlang, it's nice to meet everyone. And we just say, birai. And then niece bless you. And they're like, I think maybe I found yeah. Thank you all so very much. And thank you especially to our authors of Pkwak. You have made this language what it is today. You've taken it from a collection of sound changes into something that's living, and I thank you. With the sincerity of that Manice has given me. So until next week, I will bid you farewell. Enjoy yourselves. Have a good weekend. Have a good week, and we will see you back here next Friday. All right. Until next time, birai.